All right, guys, so after that rook and pawn endgame study that we looked at, somebody commented and mentioned somebody's name, Liburkin. And I had actually never heard of this guy before, but his full name is Mark Liburkin. He was a chess composer, and some of his positions were extremely interesting. So thank you, Thykron. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but appreciate you pointing that out, because this guy has some amazing stuff. And he actually has, well, I don't want to give it away, but I am going to start like a series where I go through some of his endgame positions because they're truly fascinating. So this is one of them that we're going to take a look at. Before we jump in and I talk about what's going on, I want you to think, what do you think should be the result of this game? Do you think white should win? Do you think black should win? Or do you think it should be a draw? Think about that for a second, and then we'll talk about what's going on here. All right, so first of all, the only way black could win this game would be if this pawn could become a queen, which is not going to happen. The king is too close and can very easily stop it. And also, it's the wrong colored bishop. Even if somehow black could capture all three of these pawns, keep the bishop alive, keep the pawn alive, you still wouldn't be able to win, because this is the wrong bishop, right? This is a well-known endgame. White could just simply park the king in the corner and it would be a draw. So there's no way that black can win. So the next question is it a draw, or does white actually have winning chances? And when I was first looking at it, I thought, okay, it looks like there's enough pawns that somehow, and they're pretty far advanced, it looks like somehow you should be able to push these and win, and your king can just deal with this guy, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. But when you start looking at it further, you start to notice that there are a couple of problems with the obvious moves. So to start things off, what do you think the first move should be for white? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the first move is actually e6. And this is one that I think makes a lot of sense, right? It's a common sense move. Like, let's push it forward. We go ahead and block off the bishop so the bishop can't support the pawn in any way. And it makes a lot of sense. So that one I think was pretty straightforward. So black plays here. And now is where it starts to get a little weird. So I invite you again, what do you think white should play in this position? And I'm willing to bet that the move that you're going to think of is not the correct move. But go ahead, think about it for a minute. What do you think white should play? Well, there's only one move in this position that wins the game for white, and it's the move king to d1, just moving the king straight back. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I saw this move, I was like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? Like, how in the world can this be the correct move, right? Like, the pawn is pushing over here. We're close enough that we can just go and get it. Why would we not do that? Like, why would we move back here instead of just going and getting the pawn? Right? So before we talk about that, let's talk about what happens if we try to push the pawns. Like, let's say we push this pawn forward. What's black going to do? Well, we're threatening the queen. They're going to play bishop f7, and we can't get through. And even if we come over here, take the pawn, black's just going to make a blockade, put their king here, move the bishop back and forth, and we're never going to be able to make progress. If we ever try to push one of the pawns, the bishop's just going to take us, and that's pretty straightforward for black. Or even by the time we come over here and take this, the king can come up and take the pawns. It would be even easier. So that's a draw. Okay. And what if we do this, trying to attack the bishop and also get ready to push? Well, then black simply takes it. And once we capture, the king comes up, and these isolated pawns are no good. Black's king is just going to take them, right? So it's also a draw. So we can't push any of the pawns. We have to make a king move. Now, the obvious move, or actually there's three moves, I think, that are pretty obvious. 1, 2, and 3, right? We already told you this is the correct move, but why are these wrong, right? Sorry, why are these wrong? Let's talk about it. So king to c3, this is what I would have played if I was in this game. I would have just played here thinking I'm going to go here and take the pawn next move, or if you push it, I'm going to go here and take the pawn, right? The problem with this is black pushes it, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to go here. I'm going to get the pawn. And now black plays the amazing move, bishop to h7. And if you'd like to think through, why is this such a strong move for black? See if you can figure that out. Well, if you had a chance to analyze that, first of all, let's go back to the pawn pushes. What happens if we push this pawn? Well, black's going to go check, and we have the same type of setup we had before. The bishop is able to block, and we can't do anything, right? So that's no good. And what if we push this pawn, trying to get a queen like this? Well, now the king comes up. Again, we're kind of stuck. We can't get a queen, or the king just takes us. If we push this one, the king just takes us. Okay, that doesn't work. We can throw in this check, which is a nice little trick, because if the king takes, now we can get a queen, but king doesn't have to take. King can go back to f8, and again, we have the same problem. If we try to push, the king's going to take, make a blockade. We can't do anything. And there's no other moves. We just can't get through, right? So if we let the king over like that, it doesn't work, right? So no pawn push works. Okay, fine. What if we just take this pawn, right? That's what we wanted to do anyway. Now, black takes here with the bishop. And again, we have to decide which way do we go. If we do this one, bishop just goes there, creates a blockade. Okay. If we go here, king goes, and the king is going to stop us. Even if we push this, the king just takes. We can't get through, right? So, that is kind of what's going on. If we just immediately go for this pawn and allow the bishop to come here, we can't get through. Now, there's a really important thing here that I want you to draw your attention to. So let me show you the exact same line here. So king here, bishop, a3, king b3, bishop h7. The reason that this move doesn't win is because black can play here with check. Okay, that's what I want you to pay attention to. Our king is on this diagonal, so it's check. If that wasn't the case, black couldn't stop this. We would just get a queen because they can't go here because our pawn. And if they move here, it's too late, except for the fact that it's check. We have to move, and then they have time to relocate the bishop. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to come back to that. All right. So let's, for a second, consider what happens if we go, instead of to d1, if we go to c2. Well, black's going to do the same thing, threatening to take here with check. So if we try to push this, again, there's a check, right? So notice earlier I said there was a check here. Now there's a check here, okay? So the idea is that we really want to stay off of these diagonals, because if we're on those diagonals, the bishop can move here with check, which is how black is able to save the position, right? So you might say, well, doesn't king c1 kind of accomplish the same thing? We're off the diagonals and we're still going towards the pawn, right? The issue here is that after a3, it's our turn. We have to make a decision. We already talked about how these pawn pushes don't work. If we push this one, the bishop's going to sacrifice, the king comes over. If we push this one, the bishop goes there, they make a blockade. So we can't push our pawns. We have to move our king. But remember, we don't want to step into that diagonal, right? Because as soon as we do, like if we make a move like this, guess what? Bishop h7, and this move doesn't work because there's always going to be this check. And then we have to move, and then bishop stops it, right? So basically, we don't really want to make a move with our king, because if we go here or here, we step into that diagonal. But the problem is if we go over here, then the pawn is too far. So we're just stuck. We can't do anything, and it's going to be a draw, right? So now, hopefully you can understand, when we played king d1, we were kind of trying to waste a move. Because now if black pushes the pawn, we play king c1. It's the same exact position, except it's not our turn now. Now it's black's turn. And if black pushes the pawn, guess what? We can avoid the white squares and bring our king up and get the pawn. And what's the other thing that black could try? Well, the bishop h7 move doesn't work anymore, because now when we push the pawn, there's no check. There's no check, and black can't stop us from getting a queen. They can't move here, right? We just take it. So that's the idea. So it's not over yet. Black says, you know what? King h7. I'm going to move my king, because I can't move my bishop, I can't move my pawn, but I can move my king. So what should we do now? If you want to pause and try to think through this. All right, well, this one's not too bad. There are actually two moves here that are fine, king c2 and king b2. And the reason is, remember, we wanted to avoid that diagonal because of the check. Well, there's no check because the king is blocking it, right? The bishop can't go there. So now we're safe. Now we can go over here and go after the pawn. So king h6, black comes here. And what should we do now? This one is a little bit tricky, so be careful. Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is not king to a2. Remember, we are trying to avoid that diagonal. This is a big mistake, because now, here we go again, bishop to h7, same kind of idea. And if we try to push, check, right? And then again, black creates the blockade, we can't get through. So same concept applies here. Instead of going there, king to a1. Staying off that diagonal and staying off this diagonal and still blockading the pawn. And again, it's black's turn. And now if they push, what should we do here? All right, well, I hope you guys didn't say take the pawn, because that's the exact same problem, right? Bishop h7 again. And again, we can't push the pawn like we need to because of the check, okay? So it's the same trick over and over and over, but in a slightly different way, right? So what do we have to do if we can't take the pawn? King to b2. Staying off the diagonals and putting the ball back in black's court. And now black has the tough decision. Do they play here, let us take the queen and stay on the dark squares? Probably don't want to do that, right? Do they move the bishop here? Well, it doesn't work anymore because now this wins, right? Because there's no checks. So what else can black do? Well, they can move back here. But now what do we do? Now we can take it because there's no more bishop h7 because the king is blocking the bishop. And the problem now for black is that because they can't go there and get our pawns, we've successfully captured the pawn. We didn't have to compromise any of our pawns by moving them. And after something like king h6, well, now we can just bring our king up. And if the king tries to come over here and get this, well, then we just play f7. Because the only reason f7 didn't work before was because king g7, or well, the bishop could sacrifice and then king g7. Now the king's too far, so f7 wins. So the king is kind of stuck, bishop's kind of stuck, pawn is gone. Now we can bring our king over and just win, okay? So because of that, we can actually safely capture the pawn, and at this point, it's basically just over. So I hope you guys can appreciate just how amazing that was. Like, how many different moments did we have to be very careful about where we moved our king, sometimes not capturing the pawn, avoiding all of these white squares until just the right moment when the king was there to when we could cross over, right? And so that's the whole point, going back here to king d1. It all had to do with avoiding those diagonals so that the bishop wouldn't put us in check. I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty fascinating. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. And there's quite a few more of these, all very different, but super interesting in different ways. So stay tuned. Those will be coming real soon. And again, big thank you to Thychron for pointing me in the direction of this Mark Liburkin guy. I've really enjoyed going through some of these studies. So appreciate you pointing that out. As always, thanks for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.